Nathan Jones has been sacked by Southampton this season. The second manager this season had to be sacked by Southampton. I just feel like I swapped this sentence is over. But Ralph Hasenhüttl was the first. Nathan Jones being the second. Only 14 games and over 3 months in charge, lasting from the 10th of November to the 12th of February. Like I said, 14 games, 5 wins, 9 losses, 35% for Nathan Jones in his time. 1 month of that coming in the World Cup, so that's why games were so low. And only one of them wins was in the Premier League, coming away at Everton, winning 2-1. And it's just not been good enough. Only 3 points in the last 10 games, losing 9 of them. But what went wrong for Nathan Jones at Southampton? Well, I think coming off the start, I think his approach to being the Southampton manager with his quotes, his David Brent-esqueness, his very confusing approach to interviews, made him slightly unlikable, dislikable. Is that the word? You know, not just for Southampton fans, but for other fans as well. It was a bit confusing because a manager with such little credit as Nathan Jones had, he came in with a lot of noise, and you know it wasn't really backed up. As you can see in this game, and we'll speak specifically about the Wolverhampton game as an example. The game where they were 1-0 up. Lamina got sent off for Wolverhampton, so they were in cruise control. However, the young, as you can see here, 24.1 years old compared to Wolverhampton's 28, indicating the Southampton game, the Southampton squad is very, very young. The January transfer window as well with Nathan Jones was a very, very key one. And we'll speak specifically about the midfield and defence in the Wolverhampton games, but I will speak about the signings that they made. Orsic, a striker. Alcaraz, a midfielder, an attacking midfielder. James Bree, a right back. Onuachu, a striker. Suleimana, a striker. And as you can see on this table here, 18 goals for Southampton in 22 games. However, 40 conceded. And that's a lot more than any other team other than Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, let's not forget, were in a 9-0 loss. So ultimately, Southampton would have had the worst or the leakiest defence. And they've done nothing about it, because if you look at the defence for Southampton in this game, you've got James Bree, obviously a pretty unproven right back in the Premier League, coming from Aston Villa, then to Luton. Obviously, Nathan Jones trusts him, so you can understand the link there a little bit, and it was a nominal fee, so maybe they just had some money left around. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, a player that's 5'8" or 5'9", playing at centre back, who's known as being a winger, a right back, a centre mid at centre back. Sometimes it works, but it clearly doesn't. And I don't think he has the pace. I don't think he has the strength or the height or the jump to be a centre back. I don't think he has the attributes. He definitely doesn't have the leadership skills to be a centre back. Salisu, who's been okay this season, and the other centre-back, which I will briefly talk about now, which is Bednarak. Obviously, he showed his disdain for Southampton in his interview with Aston Villa this season. Nathan Jones brought him back, and obviously, it was him that had the own goal against Aston Villa. Like I said, 40 goals conceded. No centre-backs brought in. No defenders other than James Bree and Bednarak, who was disliked for his time at Aston Villa for Southampton. Nathan Jones is quite unlikable as a manager, as a person. You know, I don't know him personally, but the way he portrays himself in the media, bigs himself up like the quote he had for his time at Luton, saying they were the best in terms of defensive output, in terms of progression in Europe, and then not really backing it up at Southampton. So a lot of talk, no walk essentially for Nathan Jones this season. But if you have a look at the league this season, 15 points off 22 games, 4 wins, 3 draws, 15 losses, and 4 coming in the last 5. To be honest with you, 1 win and you're back into it, aren't you? You're not completely out of it, and that's probably why the Southampton board jumped on this right now, as well as the fact that I know that a lot of Southampton fans really dislike the Nathan Jones era of the club. Off the field, it seems like there's not much money coming in, a lot of young players coming in, so potentially next season will be their season if they survive, and I think that's the hope. I've heard that Jesse March is he's in talks with Southampton right now, and as I spoke about Jesse March in the previous video for Leeds, his defensive output is not great as well. Very leaky defense, very high pressing fullbacks, which means the centre backs will be very open, very wide as well. And I think that they don't quite have the strikers right now. Maybe Onuachu and Suleiman can prove me wrong, but I think that they don't quite have the strength in speed going forward. I think that what Leeds had or did well was how nippy they were, how fierce they were going forward, and I think that Southampton don't quite have that this season anyway. Like I say, always prove me wrong, but from what I've seen in the last few games, that they've not provided that, and Nathan Jones' style is pretty similar to Jesse March's. But I think overall this was such a failed approach from Southampton, because we all knew Nathan Jones' stature within the Premier League, within the EFL. As a plucky manager with Luton, it works because of the type of players that they have there. Like Nathan Jones said, he had to compromise with the players that they had at Southampton, maybe because they were low in confidence, maybe because they weren't what he wanted as the type of player. Obviously, they would have been better in terms of technique or skill, but in terms of heart or grit or determination, something that can get you some points. Whereas this Southampton team clearly don't have that right now. They are very young, very moldable, very naive, and potentially with more time, Nathan Jones could have proven himself more. But the way he spoke to the fans, the way he spoke to the press, it was just writing on the wall from the start. He set the precedent wrong from the start, and I believe his attitude towards this Southampton job is ultimately the crux of what Southampton fans really didn't like. And to be honest with it, he didn't back it up. So they have the right to feel that way. But if you haven't already, can you go and subscribe to the channel? This has just been a little quick video on Southampton, because I could have just done the same video as the Hasenhüttl one, but it seems a lot more severe now because we're slightly more into the league this season. So if you haven't already, like I say, can you go subscribe to the channel? Comment below what you thought on the video. Comment below where you think Southampton will come, or who they will get next, or is it looking perilous for them? And if you haven't already, can you go and like it? Notification bell if you feel like it. You don't have to. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Hope you all have a good day, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers, guys. Peace.